Do you think military personnel is the most disciplined people? Well, ponder again, as what we are going to reveal in today's video is going to make you crazy. Yes, there are certain things that are totally insane, and yes, they are legal in the military. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Number 1. Dueling. You cannot pull out your sword, pistol, or fist and attack the offender with a fight. According to the pamphlet, any person under this chapter who is warring or inciting, engaging, or in making war difficult, or who, having knowledge of a challenge posted, fails to report the truth immediately to the appropriate authorities, will be punished by a military tribunal. Number 2. Drinking alcohol with a prisoner. If you're standing and guarding a prisoner, you should not give him alcohol. We thought this was really strange, but the existence of such a law makes us think that someone somewhere must have really done it. But why? The maximum penalty is 3 months imprisonment and a 2/3 monthly wage cut for 3 months. Number 3. Obscene language. Imprecation and dirty jokes are a crime, at least in the US military. We've all heard the phrase, speak like a sailor, but that sailor can actually be shot for being the mouth of a pod. According to the book, obscene language is one that is utterly abhorrent to dignity, decency, or propriety, or that shocks its moral sense because of its vulgar, obscene, or disgusting nature, or its tendency to arouse illicit thoughts. This is not always enforceable, but it carries severe penalties in that case. The maximum penalty is disgraceful release, seizure of all salaries and benefits, and imprisonment for 2 years. Other cases, the removal of immorality, confiscation of all salaries and benefits, and imprisonment for 6 months. Number 4. Jumping into the water. If you cross a ship by mistake, you will not get into trouble, but if you jump on the bandwagon, that is likely to happen. If you plan to take a dip, make sure your supervisor says it's okay first. The maximum penalty is the exemptions for misconduct, forfeiture of all pay and benefits, and imprisonment for up to 6 months. Number 5. Adultery. Cheating on your spouse can put you in a dangerous position in the future, among other things. While it is not a unique military law, 21 states have laws against adultery and non-compulsory literature. Officials sometimes charge service members for these crimes. However, adultery cases are difficult to adhere to as they can be difficult to prove. The maximum penalty is disgraceful eviction, forfeiture of all payments and benefits, and 1 year imprisonment. Number 6. Prevention. Soldiers who fall behind or lose their way in a march or run may find themselves in legal trouble. Although the straggler on the march is often told to speed up and encouraged to continue with his unauthorized officers, the case is a punishment under the UCMJ. Lost means wandering, getting lost or breaking up or falling behind, says the book. The maximum penalty is 3 months imprisonment and a 2/3 monthly wage cut for 3 months. Number 7. Do not relax with your hands in your pockets. The hand-in-pocket rule is about the ability to salute and look in uniform when a person has their hands in their pockets. But one day while talking to Marines in Iraq, former Sergeant Carlton Kent said, "Forget the rules. If your hands are cold, put them in your pocket." To be honest, this is a stupid rule based on the arbitrary notion that people with their hands in their pockets are somehow ugly or unprofessional, or can't pay tribute to John Wayne for a single moment. Number 8. Reflective straps on everything and everyone. Lord, be honest. Should soldiers wear reflective belts when training in the forest? Do you really need it? It's understandable if you're next to a car or you're training in live fire, but it's foolish to wear too many reflective belts in your army and gear. Number 9. Weekly haircuts. Now, the devil's dog probably took over his headset for 2 reasons: saving time or saving money. Junior signed up for Marines, already not making much money, and waiting with others. All the basics are worth less than the underwear. It takes a lot of time without freedom. Come on, is a weekly haircut necessary? Let's try it once a month. Number 10. Special parking rights for registered colonies, generals, and superiors. This should be self-explanatory. Are older people not at all ashamed to have their own parking space next to people with disabilities and pregnant women? Once you're on the chain, you have already made it this far. You can do it from the middle of the parking lot. Number 11. Do not walk on the grass unless you're mowing. We can train on it, we can cut it, but we can't go over it, especially if it is close to the official door of a security building or office. The rule of thumb, at least in the Marines, is not to walk on grass, and it will be taken away if you ignore it. Number 12. Standing in the lounge while talking to senior members. Admittedly, some leaders are stronger than others. The rest of the parade is where the soldiers stand with their feet spread across the shoulder width, and their hands are right over left behind their backs. What we can say is that making members of the junior staff under all circumstances stand in the lounge when talking to their leaders, sometimes even one line above them, does not always help unite unity. Number 13. Freedom Weekend Papers and Vehicle Inspections. Every Friday, units of all shapes and sizes give a collective murmur at the end of the day about hated car safety books and inspections. The shorter itself varies, but sometimes it can last more than half an hour and you always stay the same. It really can be a little processed, or better yet, read inside. Vehicle testing is just over the top. A good rule of thumb is that if the car does not look visibly low and dangerous, let the army drive it. Number 14. Walking and talking on cell phones. One of the annoying rules affects all soldiers. Obviously, it exists for two reasons. Because soldiers need to be ready to drive, officers, and because, again, it looks bad. It doesn't look bad, it looks normal, and if service members are careless and miss out on worshiping an official, they're more likely to be the type to do so without a cell phone. Number 15. In and out. Every time a service member leaves a unit or joins a unit, it must exit and then enter. The list of places you can go to get the required signatures is huge. It's funny. There are indeed two main concerns for soldiers. Am I being paid, and do I have all my gears? There is no need to send a new guy all over the place looking for 27 different signatures. A retiree in the yellow rain descends near a cave somewhere that kicks don't have to see our faces before we start the standing work. Let us know your thoughts about the video in the comments section below.